Good evening and welcome. Welcome everyone. Sure is nice to see so many smiling faces this evening. And we have a lot of good news to report and a lot of folks to thank and recognize, and we're really looking forward to that. But at this particular time, I need to tell you that this is Monday, January the 8th, and it's 6 p.m., and this is the regular monthly meeting of the McDowell County Board of Education. So, that item is crossed off the agenda, and item 2 is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Shuford makes the motion to approve.
I will second that.
Ms. Poupeau makes the second. Is there any discussion? If not, then all in favor? Aye. Right hand. Sign. Thank you. And the motion carries unanimously. All right. Okay. Before we continue on any further, two of our members are having to participate remotely this evening. Ms. Silver on the left of the screen and Ms. Mumal on the right. And here in just a few minutes, they're probably going to be removed from the screen so that other presentation materials can be presented. But they can hear us. And so I would ask our board members and those that are speaking this evening that you would talk directly into the microphone so that they can hear clearly, and the folks that are maybe watching our meeting this evening at home on our YouTube channel. Did you know we had a YouTube channel? It's really entertaining sometimes. You should watch. So while we're all together here with one another, could we take just a moment to sit in silence together and calm ourselves before the evening's business? Would you please? Thank you all. Thank you. Our next item, and has become our tradition over the years, is the presentation of colors and the pledge to the flag. And I would like to introduce Chief Campbell from our NJROTC unit at McDowell High School, and let he and his team present our colors and lead us in our pledge.
All right, everybody. Color guard tonight is going to be presented by Mr. Waycaster, Miss Hensley, Miss Thomas, and Mr. Allen. If y'all can, please join me. Attention. Salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, Color Guard, and thank y'all.
Chief, just
Yes, sir.
Just 1 second there. Captain Ross told me that one of the members of the color guard is on the rifle team. Is that correct?
Yes.
You want to tell about those two? We're the only group that gets send two teams to the nationals.
So right now we are on our way to the nationals with our color guard and Mr. Allen, not the color guard, but the rifle team, and we have Mr. Allen over here. He's one of the top shooters in the nation, and he's going to be going representing McDowell County and McDowell High School for the rifle team in NJROTC. So we're really proud of him and the rifle team. Thank you guys.
We'll continue on then with our meeting this evening, and thanks Chief Campbell and Color Guard Unit. Next item is superintendent remarks, and I'd like to introduce you folks to Dr. Tracy Gritt, our superintendent, who's been here a total of how many months now?
6 months.
6-month anniversary.
Yes, sir.
All right. The floor is yours, sir.
All right. Thank you. Folks, it's a pleasure to be here again tonight. I've got several remarks for you. I'm excited about this. Marking a new year here. I'm just going to kind of jump right into these, but the first thing is just Happy New Year. We've so many things to be grateful for this year. Tonight we will recognize student Christmas card winners from each school. We also have the annual growth awards for our schools and a few best of awards for a few of our schools. January also marks School Board Appreciation Month, and I'm certainly grateful and appreciative of this board. Our staff returned from the holidays, poised to take on the second half of the year, and they hit the ground running last week as many of our high school students prepare for semester exams in the coming weeks. We're in full swing with our winter sports seasons, with basketball and wrestling games going on nearly every night. If you couldn't find a basketball game in McDowell County, you've not been looking, because I think they're going on every night, it seems like, and I think we played all weekend this weekend at most of the schools with the Parks and Rec teams. January also marks the time when those weather calls and delays may be on the front of our minds. So parents, tune in and make sure you're paying attention on those calls for us. I will tell you that schools tomorrow are closed. It's an optional teacher work day, and that will be on a 2-hour delay. We've taken those measures, as many of our neighbors around us, based on the potential for some icy weather, as well as a significant amount of rain and some significant winds tomorrow. We don't take those decisions lightly, and that's a team effort, again, made between our folks here in the county, not just within the school system. Folks, tonight I want to take a few moments to recognize the work that's going in within our district. Currently, our secondary school staff have been conducting an administrative book review. They are roughly halfway through the review. These are supplementary materials that have been in our libraries for some time. Supplementary meaning never required for students. All the books being reviewed are on hold and are not accessible by students during the review. There are roughly 30 books that are being reviewed. While the school level teams begin to finalize their work and make recommendations, we will develop a district level review committee comprised of members of the community and district level staff to continue the administrative book review. We take such work very seriously, and it's important that we honor the process and allow adequate time to give the review its due diligence. I want to reiterate that these books will be on hold for the duration of the review. All right. I also want to take this time tonight to address another issue, recognizing the challenges that schools across the country face dealing with mobile phones. I think that's something we can all agree that we're dealing with those as an issue. Last week, a student raised concern about Sweet Baby Ray's sweet red chili wing sauce and glaze served at McDowell High School. The issue resolved explicitly around pepper derivatives in the sauce, which resemble small white spirals. The cafeteria staff recognized the concern and explained that the pepper derivatives were in the ingredients. The students seemed satisfied with the cafeteria's response. However, a photo circulated via social media with misinformation about the food. After recognizing the gravity of the post, the student posted an update and an apology, which was greatly appreciated and should be recognized as owning a mistake. Social media makes it easy to get the cart before the horse. Following the post on Tuesday, another post made its way around the schools, and we've been unable to confirm the source or date of the photo, or whether the photo was even taken in McDowell County schools. Even though we've been unable to confirm the origin of the photo, we treat all concerns regarding food quality and student safety with the utmost seriousness. Upon report of the photo, we immediately began to look into the matter, and the product in question is a fully cooked item that is frozen at the time of delivery. It is kept frozen until prepared to serve. Our staff have inspected multiple samples of the same item, and none of the examined samples were expired or otherwise unsuitable. Every school cafeteria in McDowell County routinely undergoes health inspections by state and local officials, as well as by our own staff. Our schools have some of the highest health inspection scores in McDowell County, and are currently have at least a health inspection score of 98.5. We are proud of the contributions of our student nutrition department and its consistent delivery of more than 5,500 student meals every school day. We stand by the school nutrition staff and their efforts in food preparation and customer care. As we enter the 2024, it's time to look at our strategic plan. We'll do that once again. Our school administrators will conduct the mid-year review on January the 24th, and we share our progress toward reaching our strategic plan goals with the Board of Education at the February work session. Folks, that'll be a long meeting we'll have in February. Takes a while to get through all that. This is a bear of a process, but I firmly believe setting goals and working to obtain them as the best practice for keeping an organization our size grounded and focused on the task at hand. I also want to take this time to recognize the Rotary Club of Marion and their contributions not only to our students during the Christmas holidays, but on Thursday they have purchased about 3,000 earbuds that will be distributed to our students in the schools. We're fortunate for this partnership and our friends in the Rotary Club. Folks, being a school board member is a tall task. Until you've done it, you may not recognize what is actually involved. There are a lot of moving parts to keep an organization of our size moving in the right direction, and I am grateful for this board and the work that they do to assist in setting our vision and support in maintaining the traditions of excellent school system. As I said before, January is School Board Appreciation Month. Please join me in recognizing our Board of Education's dedication to students of McDowell County Schools with a round of applause. Thank you.
I don't know that that's ever happened before. Thank you all. Yes. All right. We'll continue on, and our next item with the board and the administration wants to recognize our school Christmas card winners. And Dr. Grid, I'm not sure who's gonna carry this out.
I think that'd be me.
Well, we'll allow you to do so. Thank you.
All right. At this time, what I would like to do is have our principals, if we have principals here tonight, if you guys will come on up here with me, maybe help me a little bit. All right. So our Christmas cards, they're actually circulating here on the screen, so you guys will have an opportunity to look at these. We receive these cards all over the state from a lot of different kids, but I would put ours up, McDowell County's up against anybody's in the state, and you'll see why as you really take a chance to look at these. They did a fantastic job. We've got some really, really talented students, and it's nice to get to showcase them here tonight. I know we got a lot of parents in attendance with us, and I'm glad to be able to recognize these kids and their hard work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call out their name. If they could come up and maybe grab this from their principal and be with their principal. So I'm going in order if that helps my principals any. So Melanie Batista is the Christmas card winner from Eastfield Global Magnet School. And she's not here. All right. Well, let's give her a round of applause anyway. From East McDowell Middle School, we've got Hudson Haynes. I think Hudson's here with us. And I'll tell you what, let's have the winners. You guys are going to go right on up there, and we're going to get a picture of you all together here at the end. All right, the next one we've got is from Foothills Community School, and this is Eli Bergen. Next up, we've got Alexia Piveronis. I'm sorry, did I get that name? Piveronis? All right, thank you. From Marion Elementary School, we've got Catherine Ross. And from MAI, we've got Ashley Cruz. And from the early college, we've got Anna Williams. And from McDowell High School, Alexa Honeycutt. And from McDowell Virtual Academy, we've got Tyler Liberator. And from Nebo, Genevieve Koch. And from North Cove, Abigail Gibson. And from Old Fort, Freshetta Covert. Thank you. I should have had the principals announce the names. And from Pleasant Gardens, we've got Natalie Bradley. And from West Marion Elementary School, Mason Piacentino. And from West McDowell Middle School, Janyanya Jeffro. All right, let's give them another round of applause and let's get a picture of it. Guys, thank you so much. Let's give them another round of applause. Principal, you might as well stay put. Mr. English, if it's okay, I'll just roll right into my...
Folks, you're more than welcome to stay. It's just a barrel of fun most evenings.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you for allowing us to enjoy your children.
He did.
Your parents left.
They did.
we'll move on along then, and we have some schools that deserve recognition this evening, I understand.
Yes, sir. Mr. English, we've got our what we call our DPI Growth Awards, and I'm excited to present those. But in addition to those, we had 3 more schools that were recognized as U.S. Best News Weeks again, that were recognized as those as well. So I just felt like we wanted to make sure that we got them both and all accomplished at the same time. But as we read through these, I'll give you a heads up on which ones that they're receiving, and then we'll do an individual. Maybe we'll do some individual pictures once we get you guys awarded, with everybody standing up front, and then we'll separate out for our U.S. Best of Awards as well. So first up, we've got Eastfield Global Magnet School, Best Elementary School Award from U.S. News and World Report.
Oh, or you can sit.
You're good there. Great job.
Or you can sit. Or we can bring you a chair. I'm sure.
Next up, we've got East McDowell Middle School. This is the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. This is the Academic Growth Award. All right. Up next, we've got Foothills Community School, Best Middle School Award for U.S. News and World Report, and the Academic Growth Award. Next up, we have Glenwood Elementary School and their Academic Growth Award. Okay. Next up, we have Marion Elementary, their Best of School Award for U.S. News and their Academic Growth Award. All right. Next up, we have our McDowell Academy for Innovation, and this is for 95%, 95.5% graduation rate and exceeding the Academic Growth Award. Next up, we've got North Cove Elementary School with their Academic Growth Award. Next up, we've got Old Fort Elementary, exceeding Academic Growth Award. Pleasant Gardens Elementary, exceeding Academic Growth. West Marion Elementary School, Academic Growth Award. Next up, we have West McDowell Middle School, Academic Growth Award. All right. If we can't have the Best of Awards, if you guys will stay put. And let's get some photos of those folks as well. All right, let's give them all a round of applause.
Do you need to mention the early college?
Thought I had to.
We missed them.
Did I miss one?
We did. It looks like Miss Robinson's not here.
She's not here. Pleasant Gardens, Westmoreland Elementary School. There's one more. We did their U.S. News one before, as well as our 100% graduation rate already. So I think that may be why they were off
We
there.
just want to make sure everybody gets recognized.
Gotcha. All right.
They're on our list.
They're on our list. We'll certainly make sure that they get any recognition that's due to them. Next up,
Before you get all carried away there, Doc, I think I can speak confidently on behalf of the board when I say to you folks that have been awarded this evening, just don't feel like you're out there all alone. This board knows how hard you folks and your teams have worked over the last year and before and before and before. And it's really quite a testament to you and your staff's dedication to our young people in the county to be recognized for the growth and improvement. So I think the board owes you folks a debt of gratitude. And if you ever have trouble with our superintendent, you just, there's 9 people, different people you can call.
that's right.
But thanks. Thank you again.
All right. Well, next up, while we're into the appreciations, we had mentioned that it was Board Appreciation Month, and Board, I do want to let you know that we did do just a plaque of presentation to you guys tonight. So what I'd like to do maybe is just present those to you guys at your chairs, if that's okay.
Fine.
And then we'll just we'll do a photo afterwards. But I do want to recognize Board Appreciation. Just let y'all know I really appreciate what y'all do for the students of our school system. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. How about that? You know, I may mount that on my car.
Rows of brown.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. No, I appreciate you, sir.
That's nice. Sure, you sure can.
Those recognitions, folks, if you will, kind of hold them up so folks can see those. Those have an important stamp on them that I think is something we need to look at. That is the North Carolina School Boards Association, and that is what we subscribe to. And these folks have dedicated a lot of time to go through that organization, and there's a lot of hours behind the scenes of different work that goes into that as well. So again, really appreciate you guys, and just letting you know that's a little token from us as well as the School Boards Association. Say thank you, and we appreciate what y'all do.
All right. Okay. Well, Ms. Basney, I'm not sure if you want to follow that or not, but you're welcome to. Our next item on the agenda is our monthly report from our teacher representative, Ms. Basney. I just want you to know I found your report last month just spot on.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Wonderful.
So I have a couple different things to show you guys this evening. First, I'm highlighting Foothills Community School, and they sent me a wonderful presentation that highlights little things they've done throughout each month and it was fabulous. So the first thing they have for Summer Bridge in their August highlights, they have students come in and they work on some team building. They introduce them to their norms for sixth grade. They have peer mentors that come in to help with attendance and get new students comfortable with the building to navigate middle school. And they also talked about their summer read book, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Yes, sir. They set some great photos. They do a lot of great things at Foothills. If you'll go just 2 more slides, I believe. There we go. They also they do the Amazing Shake, which is wonderful. A few of our students at East have also participated in this, but there's a school-wide, and it's a wonderful program. The students learn a lot of great skills and life skills that they need to work on as they get older in high school and college and post-secondary. So sixth grade scholars were introduced to what this school-wide project is, and the Amazing Shake is a school-wide initiative that focuses on teaching students manners, discipline, respect, and professional conduct. The students go in February. They work through stages of the competition, and they take their top 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students to compete at the Ron Clark Academy in March. And it's wonderful. It's great to see the students, and they can build their confidence and go from there. In September, Foothills had their Back to School Community Bash that was sponsored by their FBLA, and they were able to introduce their mobile STEM lab and STEM on the Move. And several teachers were involved with this as well. You can see Ms. Petite in one of the photos, and a couple of the activities that they had at their Back to School Community Bash. In October, their staff, a couple staff members went to Raleigh to present at one of the conferences. And they have several projects throughout the year. One of them is One School, One Book. And it talks about each of their projects so far. I'm sorry, I got myself off a little bit. Their first project here, they look how students can find a way to retrieve and carry a 5-gallon bucket of water in a mile. So they've got photos here. And another one that I thought was really neat, they were tasked with finding a way to build a boat out of refurbished materials. So all of them had to get creative and work together with their different boats that they had here, and they wanted to see which boat would float with 50 pounds of weight attached to it. And all houses were successful, and they have a little bit about their houses and how that works at their school in a couple more slides. They have several clubs throughout their school. They have the Model UN team. It went to Appalachian State and presented what they learned about the country and the country that they were given at their presentation. They hosted Fall Festival and Haunted Hallways, and that's always a great school-wide event. I know several teachers talk about it every year. In November, they had STEM on the Move. And that for STEM on the Move, they have several teachers that sponsor this and work with students. They also received a grant. I'm on my next page, I'm sorry. They also received a grant, and it was through the Rutherford EMC Bright Ideas Grant and the Walmart Community Grant. They have a Lego robotics team. They have a chorus and string band. And they have a concert they've performed at MACA, which is wonderful. They also, in December, their peer mentors had the opportunity to take a trip to Dollywood for team building activities, and they had a blast. Their FBLA program has a community outreach event, and they went caroling at Rose Hill Retirement Home. There's some photos of them singing there as well. Their FBLA represented their FCS well at their NC FBLA regionals. They had a 3rd place finish in the elevator speech, a 2nd place finish in mission and pledge, and a 1st place finish in recognition tests. And the next slide talks about their house system. This is the second year they've done this, and it's wonderful. The students get points for good deeds that happen around the school, for projects, reading books, and they have a wheel that they spin for each house. So they're divided up that way. And right here, they have several things coming up in the next few months that they're looking forward to. So Foothills has a lot of great things happening in their school. I love that I get to highlight it because I only see my school. I don't get to hear about all the other ones. So it's wonderful to see what they have going on. Thank you, guys. Next month, I will highlight West Marion Elementary and Pleasant Gardens Elementary.
Okay.
Before I leave, I have another part, and then I have a couple other things that I think Miss Dowdle and Miss MacArthur will kind of head up after. So I was also tasked with polling some teachers from each school setting in the district to get feedback on our new student code of conduct and the behavior matrix. So I talked to different teachers in the district to get their opinion, their feedback, and what's going well on the teacher end. And the next few slides are an overview of the questions and responses that we got there. And the next time I do this, I'll be able to pose my questions a little bit better than I did. But we have some great feedback here. So I won't read everything to you, but the first question asked, how has the updated student code of conduct and the behavior matrix changed or helped your classroom management approach or your approach to behaviors? So our data was wonderful, but a lot of the teachers I polled were veteran teachers. They already felt strongly about their classroom management, so they didn't need a lot of help, but they felt that it was supporting what they needed in their classroom, which was great feedback. One important note is that they are veteran teachers, and they appreciated the consistency that this provided across the district and within their building. Question 2 asked, has the behavior matrix provided additional support with classroom behaviors and major behaviors in the school setting? I did ask them if they had any specific examples. I did not include those narratives within this feedback, but I did use their data just so we had a good number there. So these are from teachers who may not need that additional support in the classroom, but they were able to speak building-wide. Multiple responses talked about that the matrix gave them clear guidelines and clear consequences. So there was not a lot of question that students could have. There was no argument that students could have about this or that. And again, it provided the consistency. An area of improvement for this question would be related to expectations throughout the school and maybe more concise communication. Question 3 has the updated student code of conduct and behavior matrix provided enhanced communication between administrators and classroom teachers in regards to classroom behaviors. Key word here was enhanced, because once I kind of dug into each response, most teachers, a lot of teachers, felt that the communication in their school was already great, so it didn't really need improvement. So when I started getting the data and I didn't have that this had improved, I got nervous and I thought, why didn't it improve? But it's because it was already good and they weren't concerned in that area. And again, these were veteran teachers, so they already felt like things were running smoothly in their building, and that's what our data shows as well, that things were consistent. To follow up with these responses, we also plan to poll teachers again, possibly in April. We may be able to include beginning teachers or teachers with a few less years experience to get a different viewpoint as well. The next just shows which statement best describes what support you feel from administration and in the district regarding classroom behaviors in the current student code of conduct. And you can see we have some feel more supported, but most feels the same about the support and the guidance that they're provided. And again, their data shows that they felt support in years past and currently. I've only got 2 more. Question 5, compared to previous years, how has the behavior matrix affected your classroom and what changes have you noticed as a result? So, as veteran teachers, a large percentage did not note that their classroom management from previous years had changed. But usually, once you have a great routine and you understand your classroom and how it works, you don't need to make a lot of changes. So, I wanted to include a few pieces from responses that I felt were meaningful towards our goal. So, these were a few clips from what teachers had responded back to me. I like the effort of the county to get everyone on the same page. The need for the matrix is very real. Keeping high expectations across the county. I believe that the matrix allows for teachers to see what they need to be managing and what needs to be sent to administration. It encourages teachers to keep the power in their classroom more. Our last question asked if teachers in the building participated in specific professional development or training, any that is related to discipline, behavior, mental health, trauma, etc. And if yes, could you list the training? So I simply took what data they gave me and noted what district-wide or other trainings that were available to different schools at that time. So, in summary, when I surveyed our teachers, I felt that I received a solid viewpoint from our veteran teachers. This population may not need the extra support in the classroom, but their knowledge was important for student behaviors, and it was helpful for this data to see where we needed to grow and what we were doing well with. So these were great first steps with our district-wide student code of conduct and behavior matrix. Moving forward, there is a need for more communication at the school level between teachers and administrators, but at the same time, every school has a unique procedure that fits them best at their school. So this was also taken into account when I looked at each question. We plan to pull teachers again in late April to provide another set of data and feedback, and this will potentially include other teachers in other areas. Thank you.
You got something?
Quick question. When when will enough time have passed that you'll be able to compare actual numbers of incidences? Or is that coming up?
It's not coming up tonight, but that will be coming up at our mid-year review in February.
The administrator will be doing that on January the 24th at their mid-year review, comparing previous year's data to this year's data.
What's a period? So is a year?
I mean, that'll be enough data at the mid-year, so we'll know how our students are behaving at that up till this point, from the beginning of the year till that point. So we'll have some real-time data for you in February. Yes.
And I will say that we've already been looking at that data, and we look at it quarterly and have conversations surrounding it quite frequently. So
I'd also say my expectation would be that since we implemented something new, or had added a few steps to it and put the matrix on it, that I anticipate that some of the behavior will come back more, because I think we're doing a stronger job of reporting it and being on top of it. So I think you'll see a little bit more in the beginning for sure, compared to what you did last year.
So Ms. Dowdle and I had the opportunity to work with our administrators to seek their feedback as well, because we got the teacher perspective, but now we're going to hear from our administrators to get their perspective. So, all right, so our first question, has the code of conduct allowed for improved consistency in discipline within their school respectively, and then furthermore across the district as a whole? And both of those questions, 100% of the principals said yes, we agree that it has improved the consistency within our building and across the district. Next question, has the code of conduct allowed for improved communication surrounding discipline between administrators and staff in your school? And so this is interesting when we think about the perspective that we just heard from the teachers. The perspective that we heard from the teachers is that it's either the same, but not overwhelmingly enhanced. And so whenever we see this question, has it improved communication, 100% of them said yes. And so we will touch on that later when we get towards the end. All right, the next one is, has the code of conduct allowed for improved communication surrounding discipline between school and parents? And we know that this is a really important conversation that sometimes school administrators have to have, is they have to pick up that phone call and sometimes make a call that's not the most easy news to talk to a parent about. And so all administrators agreed that yes, this tool that's in place has given them talking points, and it's given the parents a document that's available for them to go and refer to and, talk about different options and things that might have led up to, whatever decision was made by that principal. All right, so the next question was, what changes have you seen as a result of the code of conduct across either your school or across the district? And so this was an open-ended question, so I did not want to put all 13 responses back. So what I did is I just kind of hit the highlights and covered things that were common themes. And so the number one theme that kept coming up is it has made conversations with parents so much easier. It has made those talking points common. Parents can understand their language because they can refer to that document. If they have questions, they at least have a reference point to go to and say, let's talk about item number whatever. Okay. One thing that came up as a common theme, and Dr. Gritt just mentioned this, is that there were several principals who felt like there were more severe consequences than they had administered in the past. And then also definitely more consistency between the schools across the district. In what ways has the Code of Student Conduct enhanced communication between administrators and the district staff? And so this was also an open-ended question, so I just kind of got some of the high points for you. One of the biggest things that kept coming up is that having this document provided all of us a base to discuss ideas on. We have a situation, they can be at their computer looking at the Code of Conduct, we can be up here looking at the Code of Conduct, and we can start going through which section are we in, what's happened up to this point, and so we're able to have speak the same language as the next one comes up. So we're able to discuss ideas, and we're able to speak the same language across all the schools and all the district administrators. And then another thing that kept coming up all the time is that we are communicating more frequently with district staff regarding discipline, and I can speak as a district staff member that that is definitely true. I feel like there's a much more open line of communication. I feel like I've had a conversation with everyone in this room who's an administrator at some point this year in regards to a student discipline matter, and I know I'm not alone in saying that other district staff would be able to say yes to that question as well. So it's definitely been a huge positive for that improved communication between the district staff and the principals. All right, so in summary, overall, principals agree that the Code of Student Conduct has been a positive thing for McDowell County Schools. Overall, the lead teachers also agree that the Code of Conduct has been a positive change for our school system. As I mentioned earlier, we did identify the need that we have this idea of what does enhanced communication look like between school staff and administrators, and then administrators to school staff. And that came up as two opposite responses. And so that's very interesting. So that kind of made us begin looking at a district level, is how do we as a district team begin to work to create some consistent level of communication expectations, knowing that every school is different in size, every school is different in grade level, and knowing that each situation has its own unique little quirks that we have to work through. But so we have really begun to have those conversations here at the district level of how do we work to bridge that gap, and how do we make sure that everybody understands this is communication and this is what it looks like. And so part of that conversation goes back to re-asking some of these same questions to various groups of teachers. And that's already been mentioned several times, so I won't take your time to mention that again. And then just a few other things to kind of hit the highlights in terms of student code of conduct, discipline, and then kind of leading into the mid-year data presentation. We have been working as a district team to do the alternative school application, which you were able to see and approve. We've also been working quite heavily with some of our mental health providers in the community, working to expand our reach and increase the number of providers that we have coming into our schools. We've also been working with our student services teams to really begin talking about the threat assessment process and using that as a guide to help us when we're working with some more difficult situations. So we have a lot of things going on at the district level internally to help bridge the gap, so to speak, between what's happening in the classroom, what's happening at the district level, at the principal level, to make sure that we're all pulling in the same direction and we're doing what's best for kids. Anything you want to add?
Ditto. No. No, these ladies have been great to work with, and anytime that you start a different process, um, there's always going to be areas of improvement in that. But overall, we've just appreciated and seen the great work that's happening in our schools each and every day, from our administrators to our teachers. And we are very thankful for that. And so we're going to continue to look at ways that we can support administrators and we can support teachers within our school. And as our goal is, I believe, as a school system, a conversation we had earlier in our policy committee meeting is that communication is the key. So continuing to work on that is just going to continue with that consistency and continuing McDowell County Schools doing great things for kids. So thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Basney, Ms. MacArthur, Ms. Dowdle,
Ms.
Dr. Griggs?
Greenwich, this is Ms. Silver. I do have a quick question. I appreciate all the information that was turned in. Appreciate the report. Do our administrators and staff feel like that this code of conduct is curbing some of the misbehavior that we were seeing in the schools? I mean, I know it's good that we're getting positive communication and positive this and that and the other, but are we seeing a downturn in some of the behaviors that we were told about last year? Are we seeing that this is helping in that way?
On behalf of the administrators sitting here, I can see some heads kind of doing this as far as the matrix is not necessarily the end all be all for what behaviors are going to occur in the school. So as far as are we having to address some significant behaviors, we are. As far as the matrix is providing that opportunity for our administrators to have a concrete something that they can have those conversations with the parents behind the scenes, and then ultimately be able to have the conversations with us. So are we seeing heightened or more behaviors than what we saw in previous years? I think when we look at the data from the teachers, there we're saying it's about the same. So we're not seeing these major advancements as far as then all of a sudden the behaviors just disappear. And I think that would be unrealistic for us to think that they would just magically go away. The matrix is just that. It's a tool. It's a matrix. So I think what we're doing is we're establishing that framework to allow for the consistency and a greater communication with an ultimate goal of improved student behaviors. The way that I feel like that we're going to reach that as a team is a multifaceted. It involves all these folks here in the audience tonight, as well as the addition of the alternative school. I think we're seeing a need for that alternative school and an additional support in our REACH classes with our mental health. So, Ms. Silver, I'm not sure if that answered your question. I don't think that the matrix is the silver bullet by any means. I wish that I could say that it was, and I wish that there was that silver bullet, but unfortunately, I don't think it is. But I do think it is steps in the right direction.
I think it is, and that's kind of what I wanted to see, that we're all at least sort of heading in the right direction, because I know probably better than most that you just can't wiggle your nose and get kids' behavior to improve overnight, but definitely a step in the right direction for sure.
Thank you, and I would say, and as part of that, the expectation, almost my expectation is I expect our student discipline numbers to be a little bit higher, like I mentioned to you earlier, because I feel like we're reporting a little bit more, and we're having a greater conversation with principals around those, and it's also giving the principals the opportunity to go when they weren't sure or they were scratching their head on exactly what the discipline is. Now they can look at it and go, hey, I know that I'm going to be consistent at Old Fort with what Marion's doing. And I've got those two principals. For those of you who can't see, they're sitting next to each other in the room. So, I mean, we can be consistent across the district. And I think that consistency and that communication is what this tool's about. And that part I do believe is working. I think the next part is what's to come.
And if I can say that, I think that if I recall, that was what we were asking with the matrix, was specifically we need to see consistency across the school system, and to empower the administration, to empower the teachers of, if you're seeing these behaviors, there's going to be, there's consequences and there's consistent consequences. And then the building in further into the REACH program and then the alternative school was really kind of what we were hoping to see as far as the behavior issues were concerned. And so I think that this does, I mean, we would love to see that this matrix kind of, I mean, when I look at this more severe consequences, we hope that kids will go, oh wait, that was really crummy. Actually, let's not do that again. Hopefully that happens, but I think I would just affirm that I believe that when we originally asked for this matrix and we asked for consideration of the alternative school, that it was for those very purposes that they're serving. So.
Just real quick, we're obviously competing with private schools and homeschooling, and discipline it's not at the top of the priority list. Performance is, I think, but discipline is a perceived or a real issue for us. And we heard in a major way from the staff when we met with them that there's a discipline problem. I want to thank all of you, from Mr. Oliver, who initiated it, to your follow through, Dr. Gret, and all of the staff for taking this issue seriously and doing the result that you've done this quick. And I hope, best question and mine, I hope after a year that we can look at the number and see that there's some improvement.
Sure.
So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abernathy. I wish that we were in a place where private schools and charter schools had to publish their stuff and actually have it out there for everybody else to see as well. So, I mean, for us to be able to put our discipline data out there and put it out for everybody to see, I think that speaks volumes to the job that these principals do every day to make sure that they're fighting the good fight, and we appreciate it.
Anyone else?
I was just going to say, like Dr. Grit said, principals, this board's going to support you, and that matrix was an idea that we thought could help that with teachers. If you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear them. We'd all love to hear them, I'm sure, because we are here to support you. And I hope, in the future we get back to where parents support the teachers at home with discipline. That's really where we need to go too. So if we're always reminding them, hey, these kids need a little discipline at home, and it'll transfer to school. I know when I grew up, when I got out of line, my dad went to the school board, but the board was actually a pine. It was called a paddle. And so it didn't take many times of that for me to know not to act up to my teachers. So asking parents out there, if you're listening tonight and stuff, to help us out a little bit, because that, truthfully, in my opinion, is the only way it's going to get fixed. Is at the home first, but teachers and principals, any way we can support you with ideas, new ideas, let us know what it is. But thank you for all that you're doing with this.
All right.
Can I say something? I didn't get a chance to go back to the Ms. Basney's report about FCS. Just one thing I wanted to say, that Model UN Club, I don't know if you had it when my kids were there. If this is new, this is super exciting. And I only say that because when I was in middle school, I was a part of the Model UN Club. And I will say that at that moment, it really began a love in me for different cultures and the desire to travel. And so before I had kids, I did quite a bit, extensive traveling outside of the United States. And I will say that those experiences have shaped me as an adult. And it started in that club. And so I'm grateful for you guys bringing that in and exposing our kids to all these different cultures and nations and giving them the opportunity to dream. So that's exciting to me. Thank you.
Well, Ms. Madden, you sound like you hit a home run again this month. Okay. Next item on our agenda this evening is correspondence. And Ms. Smith, is there any correspondence? Okay. Item following that is a request to address the board or public comment. Is there anyone who desires to address the board? Okay, no requests have been received. So we'll move on then to unfinished business, a facilities update with Mr. Brian Oliver. Sir.
Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Dr. Grit, school leaders, school staff, and honored guests. Mr. Henning, you certainly counted among those honored guests. Thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate it. I have a lot of good things to share with you tonight. We'll start with some really great photos of things that have been accomplished. So, some of this was going on before Christmas break, but some of these things took place during Christmas break. And Garrett, just go ahead and start with that first photo. We'll click through. Thank you. So this is the gym floor at East Middle. The gym floors at East Middle and West Middle were refinished during the Christmas break. I just want to give you some views of those. I know some of you have already been to events at those two schools since this has been done, so you've already seen these firsthand. This one actually has some entertainment involved too. Whose broad stripes and bright stars. Beautiful. That was wonderful. Tracy, thanks for sending the video clip as part of your photos. All right, this is some of the work that's going on in the locker room areas at the high school. Now, this was a major concern back in the summer, and our staff has been working really hard to make some really much needed improvements, and I think it very obviously these are upgrades to our facilities for our student athletes and our students in physical education. So lots of great work going on. You see the new tile and new painting going on. We will also have new fixtures for all the plumbing and new lighting. These are works in progress, but I think you can see the huge improvement to these spaces. This is the gym floor at West Middle. Great improvements at all these schools. I would like to mention, you notice the difference between the age and the flooring at East Middle and West Middle. So we've identified previously that a major priority in the future is a new gym floor at East Middle. That floor is aged out, and it's reached the point that the only thing we can do to improve it now is to replace it. And that's a costly venture, a gym floor, and that's a high school gym. That's not a normal middle school gym. That's a high school gym floor. So that will be a costly expense, but it's one that we have to make in the near future. So just wanted to remind everyone of that was a priority, and that's something that we'll have to look at in the near term. Okay, Garrett, thank you for that. Moving on, we've been talking about the multi-purpose field and the tennis courts for a long time. And those two projects, it's one project but two different spaces, are coming to fruition. One area left to work on with the multi-purpose field is we're in the process of scheduling a GMAX test, just to make sure that this field is perfectly safe for our students. And so far, it has been wonderful. But we do need to have a GMAX test so that we have that documented. And with our tennis court project, I know that everyone, or the board, is well aware that one of our drain boxes blew out back in early December from the first real rain that we had after those were installed. It was dry for so long, there wasn't really enough rain to test the system. One of those drain boxes blew out. That has been repaired, and that's been fully repaired. But with that repair, 30 feet of concrete on that far sidewalk that goes along the side that faces West Middle, 30 feet of that had to be removed and will be replaced when the weather allows. But, so that is still pending. And we are also in the process of scheduling a third-party survey to assess and verify the slope on the far courts, just to make sure that we don't have an issue, and if we do, to address it. So that is still ongoing. We had another thing that we accomplished during the Christmas break, because it has to be done when students are not in the building, where really when students or staff are in the building. We were able to mitigate some asbestos in 2 different sites during Christmas break. So all that was done, passed inspection, and all safe, good to go. So those are the updates I have for facilities tonight, unless anyone has a question for me.
Yes. Mr. Oliver, do want to remind the Building and Grounds Committee that once we get that data back on the GMAX testing,
Absolutely,
as well as the information on the tennis court, that we will need to have a meeting and go through that, as well as things about the alternative program, which we'll be going over tonight in the closed session as well.
definitely. And as soon as we have the information available, we'll work to get that scheduled.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Suttles and the committee.
All right.
Any other questions, sir?
Well, not for my, but anyone
Okay.
else?
All right, thank you. I did want to say, not facilities related, but all the good things that we heard about the schools tonight, I just want to say how proud I am of your hard work last year. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
I want to say to the board, seeing all these athletic facilities, you know how it gets my blood pumping. Because not that I don't like my Christmas presents, my parents, the flannel shirts and all that, that's good, but this stuff really makes me happy. And I know it will the athletes, so thank you all for really getting behind our athletics and what we're doing. The locker rooms look 100% better already. And Mr. Oliver, I played on that court, so I know I'm old and how old it really is, but
I wrestled on the court.
you're just a little bit older than me, though, I think. So, but no, again, board, I appreciate the upgrades in athletics as always, and I hope our coaches and teachers and everyone really enjoy that too. So thank y'all.
It's one of with the athletic facilities, particularly at the high school, it's all behind the scenes. So those are things that you may not particularly see, but certainly items that need to be updated. So I agree 100%. I'm glad to see the updates, and they look great. The only things I wish they weren't during basketball and wrestling season, but you know, one of the coaches, and I actually asked that to Mr. Franklin, and he said, "Look, you don't get in the way of progress." And he said, "We've been needing to have these things done for a long time. When they can get them done, let's get them done." And I just want to say a thank you to our ball teams and our wrestling team for kind of working with our progress, if you will. Excuse our mess while we make some progress. They've been really gracious in doing that, and I appreciate their efforts as well. Thank you.
Okay. We'll move on to item 13, which is new business. And the first header under that is the board committee appointments for the year 2024. And you see those in your packet this evening. And we do need to have an official action to approve those. So is there a motion to approve the list of committees and appointments as presented in your packet this evening?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Mr. Suttles makes the motion. Ms. Helms makes the second. Is there any discussion? If not, then, all in favor, right hand, and for those participating remotely, I guess you can say aye or yay.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Did you vote twice, Ms. Moon?
I did, just to mess you up. Just kidding. There's a
Okay.
big delay.
All right. So, the motion carries unanimously, and we'll move on to board reports. And Mr. Frank, anything further need to say about ROTC?
Well, I need to go a little more detail. I appreciate Chief Campbell's remarks, but there are 400 NJROTC teams that there are 400 NJROTC units that are competing to get into the nationals, and 23 get invitations to the nationals. And the good part is McDowell is one of only 2 schools in the nation that gets to send 2 teams. And you know, all our veterans here, we're proud of NJROTC and the possible futures that they have. And I hope some of those expert riflemen will go into law enforcement in the future. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Are there anyone else? Anything from Head Start, Ms. Silver?
Yes, I have just two things to share. I keep bragging on this Father to Father initiative that they have. I've asked Mr. Berryhill to share a pamphlet they sent home of an activity that they did with this fathers group. It shows some pictures of some dads with their kids that signed up to receive a pre-made canvas, and they did it at home with a Zoom meeting going on. Mr. Jones out of Nashville that is doing you can see up there on the screen. Those are, well, there it is. Okay. Those are our dads and their kids here in McDowell County. While they were doing the painting with their kids, Mr. Jones interacted with them. The feedback is the dads are loving just being a part of something. And I know that this is one of those horses that I just continue to beat and beat and beat. I cannot overemphasize enough how important it is to recognize these homes with fathers in them that are making a difference in their children's lives early, because that is one guaranteed success. And I'm so proud of Head Start. I'm so proud of Dedrick Jones and the Father to Father initiative out of Nashville. So Dr. Dulaney, if you're there, thanks again to your staff for bringing this program in. And they're paying for that out of their budget too. This is not grant funded. This is something that Head Start is paying for, and I'm so proud of them for doing that. The other thing I want to recognize is the toy distribution that I mentioned at the December meeting. This was done on December the 19th, and just some businesses that participated in 47 families serving 83 children out of Head Start were able to receive Christmas presents this year. And the story that they told is the first child that got in line, there was a bicycle, and I don't believe the child had ever had a bicycle before. And this child was able to have a bicycle, and they gave it to that family. They were the first family in line. And just being able just to spread that joy that we talk about is to know that we have businesses in our county that were willing to step up and do that. So I want to just read a list of some of the ones that participated. Diamond Thieves Body Piercing, Signs by Design, Lucky Crow Hat Company, Roaming Buffalo Outpost, Bruce's Fabulous Foods, Mr. Makeover, Ingenious Coffee Roasters, Flavors on Main General Store, Time Travelers Trading Company, Spencer's Hardware, to name a few. There may have been others, but definitely want to ask you guys, if you're listening, if you're there, patronize these businesses that are given to our kids and helping our kids. So thank you for that, and that's all I have tonight.
All right. Okay. Congratulations, Head Start. All right. Any other reports from members? So we'll move on to the next item, which is a nomination to the North Carolina School Boards Association Legislative Committee. And Ms. Mumal has served in that capacity as our representative in the past. Ms. Mumal, would you care to speak to that while we thank you for your service there?
Oh, sure, no problem. Thank you. So it's part of how, as a whole body organization, we the North Carolina School Board Association. So as a whole, all of us counties together and all of our school boards together, every 2 years we come up with a legislative agenda of what things that we think are priorities as school board members that we want the School Board Association to lobby for, to try to help us to get things done on a legislative level that we think is really important. It does involve some trips to Raleigh, and then there's some meetings that are virtual, so that makes it a little bit easier. But it is a bit of a time commitment, and it really needs to be someone that's willing to kind of listen to what other board members, not necessarily just what they think, but what other board members and other boards in our area are struggling with, or hope that our representatives at the state level will advocate for us. So I'll give you an example. One of the big things that we push to put on that agenda that the board members vote on when we go to our annual conference a couple of years ago was to have that calendar revised. And so our lobbyers were, with our different legislators in North Carolina, we're trying really hard to get that to be switched around. So lots of different things. There isn't a set agenda for that. It's really kind of organic in the sense of what is it that the different school board members and school systems feel are really important to our needs, and essentially the needs of our students and our staff that work in our systems.
Okay. All right. And once again, thank you for serving on there. I, I, we need to nominate someone this evening, and Ms. Poupeau has offered to fulfill the duties if she is nominated and approved by the board. So is there a motion then to nominate, or a nomination for the North Carolina School Boards Association Legislative Committee?
I'll nominate Ms. Poupeau.
All right, Mr. Suttles nominates Ms. Poupeau.
I'll second that.
Does Ms. Mumal?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes.
I wasn't looking. All right. So we have Ms. Poupeau. Are there other folks that might be interested in serving? Would desire to serve? It is quite a time commitment, and Ms. Poupeau, when she expressed her interest to me, did say that she would be able to fulfill the duties. So if there are no other nominations, all those in favor of electing Ms. Poupeau as our representative to the North Carolina School Boards Association Legislative Committee, would you do so by raising your right hand? And I can see both Ms. Silver and Ms. Mumal now. All right. Okay. So the motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank you. The first meeting is in July, and so we'll certainly have conversations about what it is that the board would like for me to share with with this committee. So I won't be carrying my own opinions. I will certainly carry those of our board together. Thank you.
Item number 14, excuse me, is the approval of our consent agenda this evening. And as is allowable, the board may remove any item from the consent agenda and discuss and vote on it as a separate item. So is there a motion regarding the consent agenda this evening?
I'm sorry, I have just a couple questions. For the MEC and the MAI senior trip and the MEC service trip to the orphanage, I'm a stickler about these fundraisers and making sure that every kid has an opportunity to be a part of these. And so one of the things that I saw was a passport that was going to be necessary for travel for a couple of these. And I saw that there's funding already available through the fundraisers that you guys have done to provide for the trip, which I think is fantastic. But there's still that passport piece of $100. And I just wondered if that's also included in on, if students need assistance to pay for that passport and move forward with that. That's just something that I would want to make sure that we're also considering as a part of that trip to students who might be in need.
I think that's a great question and something that we as a district can certainly look at, be it through fundraising through their committees or be it some other way or avenue. If there are parents that would struggle with that piece of it, then we would try to address those needs. I think that's a great question.
Okay, and so then another fundraiser request was for the FCS Future Cities competition. I didn't see anything about that as far as fundraisers concerned. I know that parents will be with their children, but that still might create a barrier. There might still be a financial barrier, and just wanted to know what supplemental funding is going to be available to make it accessible to students. Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you feel comfortable then leaving those items on the consent agenda?
Absolutely.
All right. So if there's no other discussion necessary, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Suttles makes a motion. Mr. Shuford makes the second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor, right hand, and we can still see you two. All right, the motion carries. Our next item this evening, the board does need to convene a closed session to discuss items. Oh, where is it, Miss Smith? You always put it in here for me. Yes. Under pursuant to GS 143-318.11, the board needs a motion to go into closed session for the following purposes. To prevent the disclosure of privileged or confidential student information, to prevent the disclosure of privileged or confidential personnel information, to discuss matters protected by the attorney-client privilege, and to receive advice from school board attorney. And any others, Mr. Henning?
Yes, I would also cite 143-318.11A5 to establish or instruct by the staff or negotiating agents concerning the position to be taken on behalf of the board in negotiating the price or other material terms of the contract for acquisition of real property.
Okay. All right. So the board needs a motion to move into closed session for those matters and those matters only. Is there a motion to move into closed session?
So moved.
Ms. Pupo makes the motion. Is there a second? Ms. Helms makes the second. Is there any further discussion? If not, then all in favor, right hand. 1, 2 more on the screen, and the motion carries. Okay, so the board is now in closed session. Folks, thank you all.